Well, it's an absolute delight to be joined today by Ravi Anand from ThinCats, one of our sponsors for the British Private Equity Awards of 2020. Ravi, how important do you think awards and more generally promoting success within the industry is during challenging times?
Awards are crucial to recognition at any time, but particularly at these times. Every transaction has complexity to it, a huge amount of people working very hard. And, at a time when we're communicating through different types of methods and it's less fluid, I think that recognition is even more important than it has been in the past.
And now turning to ThinCats more specifically, how have you adapted to the new market conditions this year?
We, like everyone else, have done a number of things. The first thing you have to do is take care of your existing borrowers and make sure that they are very comfortable with you as a supportive lender, and also how you can run with them in terms of restructuring their business if that's required, supporting them through downturn of their turnover. So we've been very active on that, and pleased to say our loan book is performing exceptionally well. And then secondly, of course, we've taken advantage or provided access to government schemes. So we got accredited under CBILS and CLBILS quite early on. We're the second alternative finance provider to do that, and one of the few that has CLBILS. And we supported our existing book to the extent required with that lending. But perhaps as importantly, we've been in the market and writing very good volume of lending to borrowers that are new to us. A number of those are PE backed, and we were one of the first providers to really look through some of the rules that the government had put in place that were constraining for PE firms in terms of the treatment of loan notes and the like. So we have been at the front foot of that, and really looked at the scheme not just as a rescue mechanism for companies, but also as a growth tool. And that's really important in terms of the pandemic has caused issues and downturn in businesses, but also to come out of this, we need to make sure that businesses are funded for growth and funding their working capital cycle and growth beyond that. So that's the thing we've done to date, and that's been very positive for new borrowers and the PE community particularly. And then what we're doing now is, as we come out of the pandemic and as the schemes come to an end, as they are at the moment, by the end of this year, we're beginning to address what I would call BAU, business as normal lending. There are a number of borrowers that never qualified for CBILS for whatever reason. There are a number of people wishing to undertake transactions that couldn't be funded by CBILS that we are now looking to get on the front foot and fund. So we're trying to get back as far as we can to where we were pre-crisis, and operate in the market in a very proactive manner. Be one of the first guys out of the block doing that.
And what would you say the outlook is for the UK private equity market and the capital and debt needs of UK businesses in general in the coming months?
I think there's a backlog of transactions that were going to take place Q1, Q2 that never happened, that need to be funded, that in fact are better funded because people have gone through some level of downturn. So that's point one, that I think there is a huge backlog to be funded. Secondly, of course, you've got to look at it sectorally. There are sector issues. Obviously, leisure is one of the key ones, and there are winners and losers in the leisure sector that do need support, and so we are looking at some of those very actively. But beyond that, really for us, to support the wider business community and PE-backed businesses, it's backing good, solid transactions, backing growth plays where leverage is reasonable given uncertainties, or is backing growth because growth is actually tangible and visible. And those are the things that we think are required as we come out of this. Of course, overall economic activity will be subdued, but within that, there are always, and with every sector, there are always good businesses. And good businesses always need support. And then I think, lastly, the fact the budget didn't take place in November and will take place in April. Well, we expect it to take place in April, and we do expect a capital gains tax change, and that will lead to a level of activity in terms of M&A that was potentially going to happen in Q4 that is likely to happen now in Q1. And so I think the first quarter of next year, and we're beginning to see into this quarter already, the first quarter of next year will be very active and very busy. And that creates good momentum for the rest of the year. So I think from an acquisition transaction point of view, we're going to have as busy a year as we ever have had because of not a lot happened in the first 6 months of this year.
Ravi Anand from ThinCats, thank you very much.